Good afternoon, Rando fans. We have ourselves a wonderful community race right now. Link to the Past Randomizer. We have a very special flag set today, going to be used for the SG Live 2022 races. My name's Vitasia. I'm joined on the mic today by Briceratops. How are we doing today?
I'm doing well, and that's right. We are going hard today with Link to the Past. All kinds of changes in this particular setup. Most notably, there's going to be a cap on hearts. You're going to see at maximum 14 hearts, and some other changes that we'll get into as well. But it looks like we're already off, and there's one of those heart pieces there in Sanctuary.
Absolutely. Of course, it is also starting boots in addition to, minimal hearts. I guess the mode has been best described as hard boot start, I think is what people have been saying. There's limited swords, limited shields, kind of limited as you would expect for a lot of hard modes, but we still want to go fast, so we're going to have the boots.
That's right. We're still getting our cardio in. Other things to mention, the bow and silvers are not progressive. So we could see silvers, we could see a bow, but we won't see two bows unlocking each other in this particular matchup. Lack of bottles, we only have 2 bottles. I think we only have a shield as well. Resources are limited in this mode.
Absolutely. Although Uncle just kind of dropped an inheritance on us, 3 hundo right away. So we're not going to be hurting for money if we make that initial check on Uncle before we head into the village. Otherwise, what? Okay, just 10 bombs.
10 bombs. I don't think we're going to be going our way to collect that. Although
No,
we haven't got very many bombs so far, so who knows? Probably not, though.
that's like, but look like 2 of our runners, Superman Taylor and Faker Jr., have both picked up a bomb. So it looks like that might just be the drop from our pickle pals up here in the forest. So if we need to farm some bombs quickly before going to the village, we can do so right there without spending any resources.
Are they actually called pickle pals? That's amazing. I'm going to call them that regardless.
That's what I call them. I mean, I'm pretty sure they have another actual meaning, but I'd make up everything as I go.
I think we got a map check as well. Desert Palace is a pendant. I think Hera was a pendant as well. Eastern is a crystal. Or Hera, actually looking at the tracker, Hera might be a red crystal.
Nope. Well, that's okay. So that's good information to know right off the bat. But most of our runners look like they're content to doing the early CAC play. And this is really going to define where we end up going for the next little bit. We do have a sword in the basement, which is nice to see right away.
That's right. And, a bit more cash as well. Always welcome early game. And one of our 2 bottles. So that's a nice find to find in Kakariko as well, because we can turn that in for a sick kid right off the hop.
Absolutely fantastic pickup. You mentioned, all 4 bottles are placed, but, we're only going to have 2 bottles ever at any point in time. So, oh, there's a lamp as well. Nice to see.
Yeah, lamp is always a nice welcome find. Not that all our runners are going to need it. I'm sure most of them, if not all of them, are comfortable navigating in the dark. But it's always nice to have that lamp there. Also a piece of puzzle for Aga. I believe we just got the glove in the back of the bar as well. And looks like bombos and a red boomerang in the well.
This has been a pretty complete CAC village up to this point in time. I mean, a sword, a bottle, gloves, bombos, a lamp. I mean, this has been just about everything that you want or hope to have in that early game. We're given a little bit of direction, but not enough that it's overwhelming yet.
Yeah, all great items to find early on. I'm sure none of our riders are upset to see any of those items.
Worth noting, as you know, we have our four featured writers on here: Files, Lana Bean, Superintendent Taylor, and Faker Jr. This was a pretty large turnout for a community race. I think there was 12 signups so far. So, or I may lose count there. There's some wiggle room, but pretty well turned out. So there are several other racers that are off stream also competing in this. So, great turnout for the community.
Absolutely, absolutely. Good way to spend the Friday afternoon. At the back of the well there, in the room that you have to bomb to, was that the silvers or was that just a single arrow? I wasn't fully paying attention. I just saw it pop up in the corner of my eye.
Looks like it was just arrows. Hugo in chat there, one of our trackers for the afternoon, pointing out, keeping a great eye on it. Our other tracker, Nervin Dolch, I hope I'm pronouncing the name right. Don't kill me if not. Otherwise, I'm sorry. But anyway, doing the tracking so that we can pay attention to the racers. Great work behind the scenes. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, that's right. They're keeping us honest. Also, Hammer out on the race game. So Superintendent Taylor is going to pick that up. And I'm sure Faker Jr. is going to turn around and do the exact same.
We already have two of our pieces into the world of darkness here. Just kind of missing our our moon pearl at this point in time, which we still have lots of places that we can go. But the worst case scenario, of course, the Agap 1 play is still on the table. We have the lamp. If we happen to get a second sword and still don't have a moon pearl, then that might still be a possibility.
That's right. As always a possibility here. Although with both the glove and the hammer, things are looking pretty good to avoid the Agap fight. Fingers crossed.
It's minimal. Come on, I gotta. We're not racing this particular seed. We gotta hope for badness right now. Oh, but
there we
okay, it's dead. Sorry. Okay, boo.
Or they could just still do it for funzos. Just for the extra practice, but I doubt that we're gonna see the climb.
Probably not. No, it's too bad, but that's fine. Looks like Superintendent Taylor is going to be showing us also this kind of South Shore routing, very traditional at this point in time. Lana Bean also getting ready to pick up her Moon Pearl directly here as well. But Faker immediately showing us, okay, green pendant in Mire. We have the other pendant in Palace of Darkness. And that was one of the 5/6 up in Turtle Rock. Ouch.
That's right. That's right.
All right. K value. Oh, powder and mirror. Okay. That's still a pretty decent K value there, I think.
Yeah, have that mirror early is always welcome. Of course, it adds to some mobility and makes navigating dungeons a heck of a lot easier.
Everyone else. Oh, that's okay. That's really interesting.
Big find in the ice cave.
It's one of those out of the way locations. It's really easy to forget if you are given a lot of stuff kind of right out of the way, so you can check more dense locations. That's going to be needed though. Everyone's going to have to stop by.
Yes, that's right, and that's kind of the curse of having both worlds open up so early in the game. Is those out of the way locations become a lot less attractive. As opposed to, say, somewhere like Skull Woods, which we're seeing on Lana Bean's side. Phils is going to take that arrow and head straight over to Eastern Palace with a quick stop off at Sarasala.
Still given the intel there that Misery Myers the green pendant. Although we got one of our full heart containers located there.
That's right. I don't. There's not too many of them, is there? I think there's maybe 2 in the whole world. I could be wrong about that.
I believe that's right. I'd have to click over off Discord to actually see it, but believe that's right. So we have definitely some early divergence here. We have Files going over here to Eastern Palace right away. Superintendent Taylor is also in the area with that bow. Lana Bean is going full force here into the World of Darkness, in the Skull Woods area of all places. Faker Jr. is, meanwhile, kind of in the South World of Darkness and staying in this particular location and doing kind of just south of the village here, being able to do these with the mirror as well. So lots of divergence right away.
Yeah, interesting approach. You're seeing sort of 2 different strategies. You either chase density through the dark world, or do you be thorough with your overworld checks, which we'll see which way pays off in this particular race.
Second bottle at Faker Jr. I think one of the things that's driving Files and Superintendent Taylor over here is they have not yet found that mirror. I think if you find early mirror, you probably avoid doing this particular check in Eastern Palace until you're already over here, maybe checking into being able to do a Palace of Darkness 1-2 punch, just to make it a little bit more efficient. But they don't know that.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they picked up their Moon Pearl yet. They haven't. Seems like they haven't followed the golden rule. You pick up the gloves, you check the back of escape. But they did find the bow, which is probably guiding their decision to spend time in Eastern Palace here.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily a bad play given the knowledge that they have either. You're sitting here. It's a crystal dungeon, and you can clear it out. And I think that's also a very good rule to follow. If you can clear out a crystal dungeon that you have to do anyway, let's go ahead and do it.
Always be closing. That's what they say, right?
That's something. This is Glengarry Glen Ross, only, in Zelda skin.
All right, Lana's going to give us our first look at Thieves Town here.
Real interesting Thieves Town. There's up to 4 items that are located here. We can absolutely get to everything as well. And having just a fighter sword, not necessarily a deterrent, just because the boss takes damage based on the number of hits he takes, as opposed to how much damage you're dealing out. So really a great play early in the Dark World, and it's a crystal dungeon too, so might as well.
That's right. We did see in the big key chest in Eastern Palace our second bottle for Phyllis. So we now know 3 of the 4 bottle locations. We might not know where the 4th is, depending on how Lana routes.
Oh, there's that magic cape that's also located. That's nice. I mean, we'll use it. I'm sure it'll get some use at some point this seed.
It might be something on the bumper ledge. Or one of our runners may make some bold fashion choices. It is a stylish looking cape after all.
Oh, okay, that was a small, yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Little tiny piece of magic. So this is one of the changes in this mode. The little tiny magic container is the replacement for what would be half magic. So that's where a half magic item would have been.
In the meantime, both Files and Superintendent Taylor first crystal down at about the 14-minute mark. That's nice to see. You got to feel good about yourself if you're in this particular race and already have 1 crystal at this point.
Yeah, some good pacing there for sure.
All right, Taylor is going to be picking up his Moon Pearl here directly. We have the map. I don't know. We haven't seen anyone dive into, except for Files, who's doing it right now. Dive into the escape sequence. There's a few treasures that are down here. Be interesting to see where that key is located.
Yeah, this seems to ring true with Files' approach to be thorough in their overworld checks. So, good play for sure. Supin and Taylor is entering into the Dark World, having picked up their Moon Pearl, and is going to go grab their mirror in Hype Cave.
All right, and Lana is now on blind. If you can get it done perfectly, it's a pretty well scripted fight, and you can zero cycle it pretty easily. Although it takes a little bit of practice. And Lana doing it textbook.
Yep, there we go. We get yet another piece of heart. Get used to saying that phrase here. Because there is about a jillion hearts in this mode. Pieces of heart.
Oh, that was a new piece of information. Silvers are up on the bumper ledge, in just north of Kakari in the underworld. So that's going to be something we're going to want to come back for as soon as we can. Although we have logical access, we do have the cape that we need.
That's right. Also, the quickest dig game I've ever seen. Item 1. Unfortunately, it was just $20.
All right. See our first bit of new information here. Super and Taylor doing the magic bat, which we'll see how much of a cheapskate he is today. Yeah, just 5 big ones.
Yeah. I would imagine they would do hammer pegs as well.
Did Faker do Mirror Ledge up there?
You know what? That's gonna be a question for Chad. I'm sorry, I missed it, man.
Yeah, no. That's fine, and that's part of why I'm asking. I just didn't know if Faker Jr. completely walked by that Mirror Ledge when he had the mirror, or if he's might come back to it later.
All right. While our runners are retracing the steps here, make sure to give them a follow for saying thanks for all the entertainment they're providing us this afternoon. Top runners, fun runners, totally worth spending some time checking them out.
Absolutely. In the meantime, let's see, new information being shown. Well, Faker is in, dungeon in the dungeon in Blind's Palace. Files is actually going up the mountain right now, which I think is a pretty good play. We do have access to the east side of Death Mountain. Super and Taylor looks like we'll also be doing Blind's Palace directly. Lana Bean doing some of the overworld cleanup that she had otherwise, I'm not going to say skipped, but at least put off in order to get those early checks into the Dark World.
One thing I'm thinking about just watching Lana play here as she makes her way east and to the ice cave. Do you think, because none of our runners have done this so far, oh, maybe she's not going to do it either. I was going to ask, do you think that she would fake Flipper and give us a first look at the Zora area? But seems like she has other plans in mind here.
That's really interesting. It's possible, but nothing has really been pulling our runners in that direction. We certainly have the rupees to be able to clear out the Zora area, and can certainly fake Flipper and do everything else. So I don't know, just maybe waiting on the right opportunity to route that in.
Yeah, like I know it's out of logic, so trying to avoid getting out of logic might be the driving decision there. But our runners do have a whole bunch of cash burning a hole in their pockets.
A question in chat from Big Mac 416, wondering if this is live or on repeat. No, this is live. I promise you, this is not an old clip at all.
This is real life. It's happening right now, dude.
Oh, it's okay. Never mind.
All right, and we're gonna get our first Moldorm fight here. 3 whack-a-moles with the hammer. Moldorm goes down, and we're going to be rewarded with a key.
The key to the basement that we don't necessarily want to see. Although getting that hook shot.
Yeah, the hook shot was great. We have the lamp, so going back in is not that big a deal, although this is typically a skippable check. Also, Phyllis's first crystal of the game, so that's also great.
Meanwhile, Faker is doing the blind fight right at the moment. Lana is doing something interesting. Absolutely set up to unlock the Palace of Darkness, but is kind of doing that combo that I mentioned a little earlier of routing the Eastern Palace with Palace of Darkness in together. Even though Palace of Darkness is a pendant dungeon, there's just a lot of value that's located there, especially when you can have full access. So it's hard to turn that down.
Great routing, chef's kiss. This is one of the best things about the mirror is the 1-2 punch of Eastern Palace and Palace of Darkness. Unfortunately, Lana Bean did not go all the way to Ice Cave, and she lacks the bow to complete Palace of Darkness.
Ooh, you're right. I missed that part. That'll be a little bit painful. Meanwhile, Files is going to be showing us East Death Mountain. First one to show us this really dense location that most runners make a priority kind of as soon as you can get over here, get over here. Although it's been turning up not a lot of anything today.
Yeah. Not great. Not great. That was hype cave quality collectibles there.
Oh, I guess Fire Rod was in Spiral Cave then. So okay, it looks like Faker Jr. is going to be joining Files up on Death Mountain as the only folks checking it. Interesting. Faker did end up picking up those silver arrows, but still no bow. Remember, that's over in Ice Rod Cave, one of those easy to forget locations. We'll see how long that's going to end up punishing both Faker and Lana Bean at this point in time.
Yeah. Taking the extra few seconds to pick up those silvers, I'd imagine will be a no-brain decision for every single one of our runners once they collect the cape. But leaving that bow in the Ice Rod Cave can come back to bite them in the butt. Especially having silvers makes using the bow and arrow a very efficient proposition.
Yeah, especially this early where we haven't really even done a lot of bosses yet. Those silver arrows melt just about everything. So getting them this early, this accessible, can really accelerate how quickly you can progress really through the rest of the game and a lot of the boss fights.
That's right. Especially if we need to collect that green pendant that is on Vitreous. All right, we're going to put the fire rod to use on Phallus' side and head into Mothula, but we're going to check the chests on the first floor first. Faker Jr. picking up their hook shot. Lana Bean is heading into Tower of Hair as well and will be collecting hers just momentarily. And Superman Taylor getting their silvers. Now, Superman Taylor has both the silvers and bow and arrow combination together.
Yep, first runner with that combination, and Superman Taylor has certainly been around long enough to know how to put those to good use.
So, we are in the moth fight. We have 4 hearts left, our fighter sword. We do have the hammer, but this is a particularly gross loadout for this fight. That's why Phallus is leaning on the red potion there. I don't know who at Nintendo approved the layout of this particular arena with all the spikes and the moving floor, but it's pretty sadistic. Worth it though, because Phallus picks up their Titan's mitts and their second crystal.
Yeah, that's a fantastic pickup. There's no other way to describe it. I mean, obviously, not only a required item, but it unlocks so much of the rest of the world for us right now. Getting into Dark Death Mountain, being able to get into the final 3 dungeons. I mean, it's just a fantastic item to end up picking up right now, and really kind of puts Files in the driver's seat right now, I would say.
Yeah, that's right. Although we still have plenty of items left to collect. We are going to be needing an ice rod. We're going to be needing the Cane of Samaria. We're going to be needing flippers. So possibly a book, possibly a couple more medallions. We don't know about those. So we still have lots of item hunting left to go.
Let's see, of the things that we have now, I mean, I think it's interesting because the Titan's Mitts was locked behind a fire rod, which was already up on regular Death Mountain, and I know a lot of runners, especially if you have enough stuff, try to avoid doing Death Mountain before you can kind of route in Dark Death Mountain together. Anyone who tries to dodge that is going to have a bad time today because of that kind of logical sequence that we just have. So got to go up Death Mountain once before you can go up it a second time. I'm really interested to see what else is locked behind that Titan's Mitts, because if it's the rest of our puzzle, then I mean that's the game right there.
That's quite a bottleneck that the game might be setting up for sure. Quite the bottleneck. Where is Phyllis going next? I assume checking King's Tomb and whatnot, and then going over to Catfish, which we saw on Super Nintendo's side, just has $20 for us.
Well, it does look like both Lana Bean and Faker Jr. are now both going over here to Death Mountain. Again, logical choice. Eventually, they've got to get over to that ice rod cave. My goodness, I'm just wondering how long it will take. They're still making good checks and they're still making good progress. Um, it's just a matter of when that'll happen now.
Yeah, I'm going to assume, because that's a pretty common location to skip. It's not a misclick on their tracker or a slip of their memory, but rather an intentional choice, and it's in the back of their minds. We're getting a look at Spike Cave on Faker Jr.'s side. I think this is our first look here, and it is our Master Sword.
Ooh, nice upgraded cutlery here.
Yes, it is a required item to beat the game for sure. Now, the way this mode works, there are all 4 swords in the pool. However, each runner is only allowed to collect 3 of them. So if one of our runners finds another sword or 2 on their path, they might not necessarily need to ever go to Spike Cave.
The risk that you end up running, yeah.
Yes, but for right now, it's a nice advantage for Faker.
No, I 100% agree. I think the risk that you run into is because swords are not necessary. I mean, you need at least a master sword, but from a logical perspective, that might be all you need. And it's possible that some of these other swords are locked into places that we may never see in Ganon's Tower, for example. So while everyone else, if they skip that, might find another master sword along the way, we're capped at 3, which means that Files would be looking to be a beneficiary of having those 3 swords if another one is locked behind somewhere.
Yeah, it's like this game is set up to be a bunch of risk-reward choices, right?
What? Of what? Never. This is a perfectly logical game that's never been frustrating to anyone whatsoever.
Speaking of never frustrating to anyone ever, Lana Bean is going to give us our Mafula fight on her side. So, we were talking about Phyllis making their way through, and they went to Graveyard Ledge, but then he turned around and is now in Thieves Town. I assume he did King's Tomb, but didn't continue on to Catfish. Is that correct?
I believe that's the case, yes.
So that's making Catfish an even more isolated check on his side. Although Catfish is nothing, we know. But he doesn't know that.
Entirely possible that he's waiting to route in Catfish until he finds Flippers, which we have not found yet. But you can come over from the Dark World. You do the Catfish, mirror over, and then you can kind of do the waterfall cave there, as well as doing the Zora check directly, as you had mentioned earlier. So possibly that's what he's waiting for, I would say.
Right, with that fighter sword on Lana's side, making use of spins, using the hammer. This is a particularly gross fight with a fighter sword. It has to be careful because although she has 2 bottles, I don't think there's anything in them, and she's down to just 1 heart. But Lana squeaks it out, collects her Titan's mitts, and another crystal in the bag. Good fight.
Very clutch. That is, I mean, you're not wrong. That is the most disgusting fight in this entire game. I still have nightmares about Mothula.
Yeah, and it's not Mothula itself that's difficult. It's the room. It's the worst room in Nintendo. I will die on that hill. On Phallus' side, that was another blink and you missed it fight. Flying collecting their 1, 2, 3, 4th crystal.
We've collected a lot of crystals up to this point in time. The only crystals we have left really are places that we don't have any logical access to. As far as we know of, Turtle Rock we've not seen yet, but we don't have the Cane of Samaria to get past the front door. We don't have the flippers to get into Ice Palace, logically, and we don't have the flippers to get into Swamp Palace either. So at this point, I mean, Dark Death Mountain and then Palace of Darkness are the only 2 places that I can see that we haven't checked yet that could contain some value for us.
That's absolutely right. And Faker is in Dark Death Palace right now, Palace of Darkness, but without so they have to get past the Mimic there. Also, shout out to our friends coming over from Speed Gaming 1 with a party of 173. We are in the middle of a randomizer race. It is hard mode. A bunch of different items are locked out. Essentially, we're limited with bottles, we're limited with swords, we're limited with shields, and limited with hearts. Kind of looking for the next piece of our puzzle here. Is where we're at. And I think heading over to the Palace of Darkness might be what Phyllis is thinking in their mind after checking Dig Game here.
As I recall, it was a pretty short dig game, all told.
One dig.
One and done. I like it. If you're gonna, you know what? If it's just gonna be 20 rupees anyway, might as well make it quick.
Lana getting the news on that shield, expressing how she feels with 3 bombs.
Ooh. Bios is going to be doing over here and doing one of my favorite checks in checking the dwarven smiths as well as hammer pegs over here. Have not checked this yet. Most runners did not necessarily have the Titan smiths when they first rolled through here, so this will be some new information that could hold our pattern here as well.
And it is a piece of heart.
I mean,
Again.
I'm excited. Yeah.
Maybe the dwarfs will be the next piece of our puzzle. We'll find out here.
Nope. Nope, not at all.
Hey, $20 is $20, man. We know Magic Bat is not what we need. Also, Palace of Darkness has been kind of a bust so far on Faker's side.
That it has. I mean, we just got the big key. It was in its vanilla location, so of course it ends up being the last place that we check. So Faker has to turn around and come all the way back to be able to do this. If it's not here, it's. I mean, what else do we have? We have the Zora check then, and that's.
We have Zora, we have Agina's Cave, we have Purple Chest. Those are all things that we haven't seen yet. But we're running out. We're running out of places real quick.
Oh,
and
Dark Death Mountain.
Dark Death Mountain as well, yes. I missed what was on the big chest in Palace of Darkness. Did you catch it?
Piece of heart.
Surprise.
I mean, for a hard mode seed, this has been reasonably healthy. You know, we're at 8, 9 hearts, I think, at this point.
Not bad at all. I mean, Faker has to be careful because even though they have 8, 9 hearts, they only have 2 hearts filled at the moment. So I'm sure on his screen, he's getting a case of the beepies.
It does look like Files is setting up. We're going to get some new information with this purple chest. But here's the question, and as we open up another big 20,
20 bucks.
yeah, what's something you don't want to see yet? Like, is there a key item that you're like, you know, I do not want to see that right at the moment. I want to not have that open up to me.
Okay, I got one answer for that. I think the worst item of the key items you could possibly see right now would be the flute.
Yeah.
Flute, suggesting that we need to dip into Misery Mire area, and specifically Misery Mire, which is a long dungeon that doesn't have a lot of density, and is a green pendant. So if you're going in, you might be very inclined to complete the whole dungeon.
Well, and I'll give you one more with that. It also would unlock our ability to do Desert Palace as well, because we can mirror over from the side, and that is also another pendant dungeon. So just double pendant dungeon access if we end up finding that particular flute, and nobody got time for that.
No, man. I would imagine that the pedestal hype would go nuts in the chat, though, if we do find that flute next.
Alana placing a couple bombs on her frustration for that Aga chest, or Gina's chest. Sorry, just a couple bombs. It was just a chest. So let the hate commence.
Right, in Super Bunny Cave, we have some bombs and a new change of clothes. This is our only male upgrade. I think all the male upgrades are... I think there's only one. They're not placed in the world. There's only just the blue male upgrade. Is that correct?
No, it looks like armor is capped at blue, but they're both placed, and then it overflows to rupees.
Okay.
That is bomb boats, by the way, on Turtle Rock, so we can open it.
Not much we can do after that, though. At least until we find Candace and Maria. But it's good to know that at least we have the key.
Oh my, okay.
We needed them. There's the flippers there.
Yeah, I mean, nice to see him. That does unlock both Swamp Palace and Ice Palace. Logically, we could clear them both, which is great. Um, Neither of them we necessarily want to do, though, because they're both pretty long dungeons. They're pretty spread out in terms of where their treasures are. Ice Palace, in particular, a lot of runners have gotten accustomed to using the Icebreaker kind of shortcut there, and we don't have the Cane of Samarias to do that right now.
That's oh no! Phyllis taking a death, miscalculating on how much cape juice they had on Spike Cave there.
And here's the worst part: Files is not going to go back and do that. That space is written off as of right now.
Yes. So better hope that there's another sword on the way, because that is a gross place to go back to, especially because the other swords could be sitting somewhere in Ganon's tower, and we might never see them otherwise. Just a reminder for those in chat, we do need at least the Master Sword to beat this game.
Absolutely. If we get into a point where we're climbing Ganon's tower and Files is still sitting around with the fighter sword, we could be opening some extra chests even beyond the normal, get the tower key and go.
That could melt his entire lead away just like that. On Lana Bean and Faker's side, still running around the world without that bow, so that's also a problem for them.
So far, I mean, there hasn't been a whole lot of punishment. Palace of Darkness ends up being a giant dud, from what we can tell, unless we end up having to go back there to eventually kill the boss. So it's at least keeping them away from what otherwise they would have to do there. Although Lana is going to eventually already dip down once into Eastern Palace, not able to kill the bosses, so will eventually be a double dip. But otherwise, it's one of those. Yeah, hope they are forced to go over there before too long.
And Super Nintendo, up in Dark Death Mountain will be interesting to see if they go through and follow all the way to Spike Cave or not, because that could be a huge competitive advantage real quick for Super Nintendo.
It could, absolutely. I mean, think about the advantage it would be just on Argus, for example, as a boss. The different strats that you can do, fighter sword versus master sword, having to clear through all of those clouds. I mean, it's a solid like 20-25 second difference, and all of these runners are realistically very, very close to one another.
Every gosh darn name is taken in chat has asked, what are we looking for? Well, we're looking for a few things. We need a ice rod. We need Cane of Samaria. I think that's basically the bare minimum of what we need. We know what the medallion for Turtle Rock is. And in the case of Faust, they're looking for another sword.
All right, so Super Nintendo now going to try to get through. Oh, that's the problem in hard mode. You don't have a whole lot of health or magic, so you're just hoping to get through. But Super Nintendo does also pick up the Master Sword. Files looks like is going ahead and going to check left side Swamp Palace. This is not something that everyone checks, but I like the thoroughness of it, especially when you have two things that you're looking for.
That's right. With so few items needed, making these skips can be pretty risky.
Faker with kind of a clever fake flipper here. Oh.
Ooh. So that is the Temper Sword for Faker there.
Yeah.
Again, depending on what we find in these dungeons, like we might never be compelled to go up to the Zora area if we're just zooming through these dungeons. That could be an issue. Although I'd imagine if we don't find what we need, Zora's has a big red target on their back.
Well, I don't know, because again, we have another crystal dungeon that we can go do in the Ice Palace. So, I mean, it's possible. And then if I imagine
Like if we find the Cane Samaria and the Ice Rod along the way in these dungeons, that's bad news for Phallus.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I guess the best case scenario for us going up and checking the Zora area is if instead of finding the Cane of Samaria and or the Ice Rod, we get through both the dungeons. We're still missing something, and we are given the flute at that point. Like, I can absolutely see a scenario where I would much rather go check the Zora area than have to dive into Mire.
Yeah, the as we discussed earlier, the flute is an item we don't want to see in this game, unless you like pedestals.
Oh, and
So,
Files is menu bossing. Ugh.
yeah, you could see right here the cost of having the fighter sword versus the master sword in this one fight.
We're going to get runners with 3 different instances of the sword, because Faker's going to have the tempered sword, and I'm not sure. It's been a while since I've seen Faker run. I don't know if he even knows poke strats, but that can get through Argus very, very, very quickly.
That's right. Lana Bean also is on their fighter sword, so is going to have a gross fight ahead of her.
The good news is for Files, had the silver arrows with the bow ready to go and just kind of one hit there. Lana won't have that option, unfortunately.
No. We are going to see 4 different versions of this fight, which is really fascinating to me.
That's a rarity, honestly, in this particular randomizer. Like, most folks, like, there's a logical progression path. Having 4 different fights for a same boss is really quite unique.
The last game I was calming, I realize I'm talking about a different game here, but I saw 3 different blind fights with 3 different loadouts happening at the exact same time, and that was really interesting. We just picked up our Ether Medallion.
Yep, Ether was available. Does not look like anything else, though. We have full cleared. Files is going ahead and YOLOing right into Ice Palace. Says, no, I don't need to do Zora. I know it's right next door. I know it would be super helpful, but I got this.
Yeah, and this would be the right play, I think, right? Because you're assuming the items that I need are along my path, first rather than deviating. But it also means without the Canis Maria, we got to do the old school bond jump route through Ice Palace, and that takes a little bit more time. Absolutely decimates those Pain Gators, though, with hook shot. Holy smokes. So I guess on Phyllis' side, the one thing that they don't want to see, that they do want to see but they don't want to see, would be the Canis Maria here.
I mean, if he finds it, then it will be great because he'll be in go mode as far as he's concerned, except for missing a sword.
And Ice Rod. And the Ice Rod.
And Ice Rod, yeah.
Yeah.
But man, doing Turtle Rock.
It also means that you're most likely just going to go straight up to Turtle Rock.
That's gross. I mean, that's super gross.
Turtle Rock without an Ice Rod, too.
Both Lana Bean and Super Taylor get through that Argus fight very cleanly. Up great fighter sword strats. In the meantime, by Lana, just to point that out, got some double spins there. So Super Taylor had the Master Sword, so a little bit faster, making up some time.
Yep. And Lana, continuing her philosophy of being thorough when getting a new item and checking, is giving us our first look under the bridge here. And it is $20. We'll see if she continues on to do the waterfall and Zora area. Also, if she was going to collect Ice Rod Cave, now is probably as good a time as any, because we could swim to the ladder there.
Looks like it's going to go do the Zora area instead.
Oh no. Oh no.
Meanwhile,
Whoa! Whoa! Did you see that?
Yeah, that's some rudeness.
Both swords. Both swords in the waterfall.
Oh. Oh.
Because Faker had the Master Sword already, we didn't see that because it turns into a green 20. But Lana collected both the Master Sword and her Tempered Sword, which means she would never need to go to Spike Cave.
Well, that means we know where all the swords are, and if
Yes.
Files absolutely has to do Waterfall Cave.
Yes. Well, here's the thing. Is you can get into if we get the items that we need along the path. So let's say we're here at Ice Palace, we pick up Canis Maria that goes straight to Turtle Rock and gets their Ice Rod. Go modes that. Phyllis will probably calculate that there's a sword somewhere in Ganon's tower, which would be the worst case scenario because they would full clear Ganon's tower and then have to turn around and explore the world. Lana Bean picking up some extra bombs in a room that we don't often see.
I mean, I appreciate Lana picking up extra bombs, in large part because she is so expressive with her bombs. We can always tell exactly what she's thinking.
Yes, that's true. She needs it just because she's so enraged. Oh, that's funny. Ice Palace, so this is good news for Phyllis, though. Ice Palace is right? So means that we'd have to continue the search for the Samaria cane, which will lead Phyllis into hopefully another sword. Stupid and Taylor doing an excellent bomb jump to get over to the east side of Ice Palace. And Faker is going to turn in the Smith.
I think we're just about done. I think we found. I mean, we have the boss spot, but I think we've gotten everything down up to this point in time, or
Yeah, there
we've
hasn't been.
unlocked everything.
I don't remember if we've seen them. Okay, so we did see a map along the way. I don't know if we've seen the compass, which could be here on
I
Colster.
know we've seen the compass. Yeah.
Okay, so then there's an item here on Colster. Great Colster fight.
Oh no.
Oh no! Oh no, that was the worst possible item it could have been for Phyllis.
I mean, okay. If you're looking, I mean, oh gosh, it's such a. You're right here too, but you're not right here.
This would be the time to check it. This would be absolutely the time to check it because of the little warp zone.
Okay. Whew.
Okay.
Oh,
Crisis averted, gang.
and that will be everything we need at this point in time.
Except for the ice rod.
Oh
Still need
well,
the ice rod.
details.
It's not a Zelda game without an ice rod hunt.
I mean, this is always an ice rod hunt. I mean, this is Legend of Zelda Randomizer Ice Rod Hunt Explorer.
I know. Just assume that it's sitting there on the pedestal every time, right?
Yeah, at this point, you gotta gamble for Ice Rod on Turtle Rock. I think, especially if you're files that nothing else really makes sense. Yeah.
Just for density alone. I mean, I'm surprised that Files even bothered with the Zora area in one respect, just because density dictates that it's probably in Turtle Rock. Thank goodness that they did, but this could have gone really badly for them if they went where the density was.
Well, keep in mind there's still lots of nastiness at play. We can still have, Turtle Rock holding, like we mentioned, the flute, which would be horrible.
That's right.
Yet I'm kind of rooting for it now. I kind of want, like, Laser Bridge, fourth treasure chest, be the only thing. It's the flute, and we gotta back out and then go, yeah, let's do it.
So here's something. Files is checking Spike Cave again, just to be thorough, and gets the news that it would have been their Master Sword.
Well, at least all runners will now have their Baconator sword on their way up to what is at least the last boss, but some runners are going to have it a little sooner than others.
That's right. Nothing crisps a pig quite like a Baconator sword, right?
I skipped lunch, so now I'm hungry. I'm sorry, everyone. I just want to put that out there.
Oh, bad Dead Rock. Oh no.
That's a horrible Dead Rock. Oh no.
Okay, Super and Taylor thinking about where they need to go next. we have a little bit of a race on our hands here between Faust and Superman Taylor, both going into Turtle Rock, hoping that they'll find an ice rod along the way. Not a lot of other places left to check, though, so this is kind of the only play that they have.
Yep. The back half of this, I mean, we remember early on in this particular seed when we were talking about, you know, the runners were in 4 different places and everyone was taking a different path, and it was fantastic. And really, everything kind of bottlenecked right there around the flippers on a Dark Death Mountain there in the Hookshot Cave. And since then, it's been fairly linear. Everyone has gone from that to going ahead and doing the Swamp Palace and then Ice Palace, getting that Cane of Samari, and now coming up here to Turtle Rock. So it's all been more or less linear and bottlenecked right there around the flippers.
Yeah, Lana Bean is heading up to Turtle Rock as well. Worth making note of the fact that she still hasn't visited Ice Rod Cave to collect her bow, unfortunately. And without the flute, going away from the Ice Palace means that it's even more isolated than it was before doing Ice Palace.
So 3 of our runners in Turtle Rock: Lana Bean, Files, and Superman Taylor. Faker Jr. Coming up, doing Swamp Palace right now. Um, we kind of know the path that Faker's on right now, though, so should be fine.
So
That pokey.
the pokey getting away from Phyllis there. Superman Taylor's hot on Phyllis's tail, though, so this dungeon could come down to execution.
Yeah, that's a good point. And this is one of those dungeons that if you know it, you can get through it pretty quick, but it's real easy to get off script. Especially when we're still looking for that ice rod, unfortunately.
That's right. So we're being asked in chat, if we don't find the ice rod here in Turtle Rock, what's next? Pod. We've already done Pod. Most of it. I don't think we've beaten.
I think
the boss.
I think some of our runners have. I think some of our runners have. Other runners have completely dodged.
Yeah.
So they might go to it, but we know it's not the play.
Yeah. What we will see here is we will find either the ice rod or the flute or the book. It would be one of those 3 items somewhere along Laser Bridge or Trinex. There's the book. That's an item we don't want to see. Because, of course, that lets us get into Desert Palace, but also check tablets, which are in not great places. Well, one is not so bad, but the other one's kind of out of the way.
Yeah, the book is just what I call the Fetch Quest Prime, honestly.
There's our other full heart for the game.
We still have Laser Bridge to go, so there's 4 more checks. Get your guesses in chat right now. What are we going to find? Is the book our answer, or are we going to find our answer here on the way?
Well, there's our answer. So, still looking for a key. There we go. But at 110-ish, Phyllis is officially in go mode.
Still a very fast go mode, all things said.
Yeah. Like I said, it was going to either be ice rod somewhere in here or one of those gross items, and we lucked out for sure.
And Lana looks like is coming up. Both Lana and Superintendent Taylor are hot on Phylus's heels. Everyone just get in here. We said it was a close race for a while. Phyle's doing fantastic at this point. Didn't quite get the zero cycle.
Yes, I mean, Superintendent Taylor is still within margin of error. Depends on which way they go through Ganon's tower routing. Lana still needs to go grab that bow and complete Eastern Palace, unfortunately. Which she might be sent off in a bit of a wild goose chase with that book. The Ice Rod Cave is where the bow is.
Meanwhile, the best cane, the superior cane, was our reward. Staff of Burna.
My cane. We can put Ganon in the Burna blender. Also, get your guesses in. We have 22 chests to open up potentially to find the big key. Where is it going to be?
You know what? I traditionally guess 9. I've been guessing 9 for the past 4 years, and I'm never right. So if anyone else is guessing 9, I'm sorry, you're going to be wrong because it's never 9. I'm just going to put that out there.
Okay, I'm leaning in on 3. 3 is my choice. All right, we are going left side first. Oh, there we go. Wow. The reason why Phyllis is continuing on is we still need we need 1 key there to open up the climb. But Super Nintendo Taylor, I keep on saying Super Nintendo Taylor, that's hard to say, needs to make the right choice heading into the tower, or else they won't be able to catch up on execution.
GG's, Vicky S. Namath. You won. You guessed 1.
There you go. Internet points for you.
Superintendent Taylor just did a juke there for a second. I was like, no,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I bet you they're glad that they reconsidered, too. Lana using that book to open up the ether tablet and got some bombs.
So we're going to time this out. Files getting through to the Landmo 2 room at about 1:14:49.
And leaving that room 10 seconds later. That was a very nice Lambo fight with the silvers.
It was. That's about as clean as you can hope for Landmo 2.
Hey, where's Lana going next? Is it to check the Bombo tablet and then
Yep.
Desert Palace, I think?
I got to imagine that's the combo. If you have faded Ice Rod Cave up to this point in time, you either forgot about Ice Rod Cave or you have kind of intentionally put it off and says, "Well, if it's here, I've lost."
Yep.
So Super and Taylor getting there 1:15:39. So about 50 seconds behind Files. This is still a very close race. Changes in Ganon fights can certainly make a difference here.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just thinking about how many bombs Lana's gonna put down when she gets to Ice Rod Cave. Anyone have a prediction in chat?
Yeah, let's make that a chat prediction. How many bombs will Lana drop in Ice Rod? Or cast bombos. I've known some runners to like cast magic as well.
That's like setting off a nuclear bomb. All right, Phallus deciding not to practice their hover skills. Gonna head over and do the Aga 2 fight.
Geometry Mage, here we come. Good triple there from the looks of it. Triple with triples.
Ooh, beautiful.
I mean, nicely done, but there's some room for improvement. If Super and Taylor can have a cleaner Aga 2 fight, we'll see.
So I don't know if you caught it, but the thing that Lana pulled from Desert was the mushroom. So
Oh,
she's
no.
going on a bit of a wild goose chase now. Phallus getting their nice cheap shot in on Ganon before the fight starts.
Super and Taylor now also done. I think that was, I mean, the same cycles is what it looked like to me. 3201, so yeah, not a whole lot of time saved. Oh, and Lana Bean having, oh goodness, is doing the super bomb, so is doing the
Yeah,
the fairy.
we're gonna see the game on Lana's side. Okay, only about 45 seconds between Super Taylor and Phallus.
There it goes. Didn't get the torch glitch, but crash, boom, bang.
Yes, the pig is dead. Get your GGs in chat. All Phallus needs to do is walk across a bridge, with an
Alright,
official
thanks for
race
checking
time
in.
of 1:19:40. Good game. Good job. And Super Taylor is going to be quick behind them. Also didn't get the torch glitch, but doesn't matter. They're going to be crossing their bridge with an official race time of something. I'll tell you in a sec here. 1:20:11. So get your GGs in chat. So that next file is 4th place overall in today's race, and Super Taylor's 5th place. 1st place, we have Gem with a speedy 1 hour, 2 minutes, and 42 seconds, followed by Matt 7898, 1 hour, 10 minutes, 33 seconds. Vinter at 1:17:15, and then Phyllis and Super Taylor for 4th and 5th. Hydropower has finished 6th with 1 hour 20 seconds and 1 hour 20 minutes and 25 seconds. So close spread there between 4th, 5th, and 6th place. And we are joined with someone. I think Files just showed up. How's it going?
It's Files, yep.
Files. How are you feeling? I got a question for you, my man. How are you feeling?
Not that great. I
got
knew
a
when I
specific
saw Gem
moment.
finish, like, freaking 15 minutes. I mean, first of all, it's Gem, right? Like,
yeah, that Gem's godlike.
well, I mean, I knew the only way I had any kind of chance of like beating like Gem or even Matt would be if I did stuff like check left side swamp, which is what I did, because I know that's like Gem always skips that stuff. So, and he's just infinitely better than I am. So, so it's like, all right, this is my only chance.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. So, swords. You were in Spike Cave and you miscalculated how much cape juice you had.
Well, I didn't. It was less of a miscalculation and more of I screwed up the movement. I had a full bar, and I knew that it was possible to do it, but I didn't hookshot the second torch, and it was just bad. So when I got to the end of it, I was like, "Oh God, this is gonna be close," and I was right.
Hey.
It was close, but not in the way that favors me.
Yeah, that's how hard seed rolls sometimes. But that's where one of the swords was. So
Correct. Yeah, and when I was going back to Turtle Rock, I was like, I'm checking this spot because if it's here, like if Ice Rod is here and I died, I'm just gonna be mad.
Yeah.
So when you see the 20 rupee, you know it's the other sword. So
yeah, fortunately, you made the decision to check the Zora area before taking your Candace Maria up to Turtle Rock, collecting your 2 swords in the waterfall. But that was a moment of stress for us in the stream on whether you were going to head over that area or just head straight up to the mountain. How did you feel when you pulled those 2 swords out of the waterfall?
well, I knew I was in sword go mode, but it was like, I don't know, like a sword go mode doesn't feel quite so terrible when you've got all of like GT and Turtle Rock ahead of you. So I wasn't like worried about it. It was like, all right, well, I'll finish Turtle Rock, and because I got to full check everything anyway, because I'm still looking for the Ice Rod.
Yeah.
So
that's what we were talking about. That's what we were talking about. Is if you went up to Turtle Rock, you would have assumed that it's somewhere in Ganon's Tower. You would have cleared that all out and then had a real bad time. But fortunately, you made the decision to do some overworld checks before heading up to Turtle Rock, trying to find that Ice Rod cave or Ice Rod, and it paid out for you.
Yeah, it was nice. I mean, honestly, like, I metagamed a little bit. I was like, all right, I know, like, Gem's good, but he's not, like, so good that he can do everything if stuff is in a ton of weird places. So I was like, all right, swords are probably either on the way or, because, like, I don't know. I wasn't too worried about swords. I was more worried about the Ice Rod. But who isn't worried about the Ice Rod, really?
I mean, that's the name of the game, essentially. A Link to the Past, Ice Rod Hunter, right?
Pretty much. Although it's, I don't know. But yeah, it was a real interesting seed. I feel like I played the beginning part of it pretty well. I got that bottle for Mothula because I wasn't feeling super confident in my hammer moth skills. I just wasn't feeling it, and I'm glad I did because I needed it.
Yeah, we were we were saying that that Mothula fight is not a fight you want to have with 8 hearts and a fighter sword. It's the worst room in any Nintendo game ever. Like, Mothula is not that hard to fight itself, but it's just the room with the spikes and the conveyor belt. It could be a bad time, especially on a fighter sword.
I mean, the real boss in that room is the room. It's not Moth. Like, but I mean, like I've successfully completed like hammerless, 5-heart fighter sword Moth before. It's just, I don't know, that fight's a crapshoot. So I don't know. I just wasn't feeling it. So I took the health pot. No regrets there. But my only real regret was I did a lot of full clearing in the overworld I probably didn't need to do, and I took missing that bomb jump in Ice Palace. Like, I think it cost me like a couple of minutes because the small key layout in Ice Palace was terrible, and the Smario was on cold stairs, so there was no icebreaker. So I was like super rusty at everything that wasn't icebreaker because icebreaker's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's one of the. Yeah, to practice the old school techniques, like it was like 2019 again, right?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, it felt like 2017, like learning the Ice Palace bomb jump. Luckily, the muscle memory came through after a couple of tries there. It was funny, after I fell in the pit, I immediately went to the right pixel and dropped the bomb, and I was like, okay, well, I guess that's all I needed to do was to just let memory do it.
I'm just going to interject here because I think Lana has finally exhausted every single possible check except for Ice Rod Cave. So she's going to head over there and get the news. Yes, this is her bottle merchant this game, unfortunately.
Oh, that's brutal.
We have a prediction in chat on how many bombs she's going to drop when she picks up the bow here. I mean, she already has the bomb.
It's such a spot that's like you could skip it. Like, I totally get it.
Oh, and she did.
It becomes hard to check with no flute. It's kind of like one of those. It's hard to get back there, and yeah, she's gonna be sad when she finds this one.
Yeah. So she
no bombs, like 6 pulls. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Faker's grabbing their ice rod and is going to collect their key on Laser Bridge and then head over and finish their game shortly too.
I thought it was kind of funny that Ice Rod was on the first chest, and it's like, okay, where's the small key going to be? It's going to be the last chest with all the items, of course.
You had to do all of them. And there's like the map and like all the useless stuff in between, right?
Pretty much. So, yeah, GG's to my opponents. Looks like it was a pretty close race outside of in the middle of the pack there, so that was real neat to see. But I'm going to take off, but thanks for the comms, guys. Thanks for tracking and everything. You guys are awesome.
Yeah. Oh, thank you very much, and thanks for putting on a good show. Have a good rest of your day, my dude.
I don't know. It was a show. That's all I guarantee.
It was a close race between you and Super Taylor, so it was very entertaining there.
Yeah, S&T is a good guy. So, all right, I'll catch you guys later.
See you later.
Meantime, Faker is completing his Turtle Rock, while Lana got the good news and now will be finishing up. And maybe a little bit tilted right now. I wouldn't blame her even remotely after that bow placement.
Yeah, that's a frustrating. So it's definitely feels bad. Last locationing an item is, part of the game though, right? So yeah.
Oh, there's not a person in this community who hasn't done something exactly similar, so no shame to that game.
Yeah, and it probably happened in Ice Rod Cave. No less. So Faker's on their way to Ganon's Tower. We'll see which direction they pick. Of course, one is going to be a very short route. The other one's going to be a less short route.
I mean, we'll say this for Lana. That was the fastest fight for
He
Eastern Palace that
smoked
we've seen.
Yeah. Breezed through it. Holy smokes. All right, Faker is heading left, so they're going to collect their big key right away. Lana has their final crystal and is going to head up to the mountain as well. Let me ask you this. Fajita.
Yeah.
Is there a particular room or rooms in the gauntlet that you find to be just unpleasant? 'Cause, every game
Yes,
you
yeah.
got to do the Gannis climb, right? So it's one of the parts of the game that is always pretty standardized, depending on your loadout. Where do you find the kinks in the climb are for you?
That is a fantastic question. Here's how it goes for me, because I am what one might call bad at this game. What the worst for me is right before the hallway to Aga 2 with the ice and the bumpers and the mini Helmosaurs. If you have the boots and you can just like zip through that, it's very easy to get through that. But if you're off script by even a little bit, that room is a nightmare to me.
Yeah, the room is
So
gross. Oh no! So Lana's taking a little bit of a detour here. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
no, and okay, so hope chest first. I see. That's perfectly
There we go.
acceptable.
That's it.
So yeah, that's the one that I think terrifies me, just because it's so easy to get off script there, and if you miss time your dash, you're off into some spikes, and then you're on ice, and you have Helmosaurs all over you, and it's no fun. So that to me is the single worst room. Like everything else is not bad, but at least tolerable. Like you can expect it to be bad. That one, you just hope that you do it right, and if not, then you're wasting another minute in that room.
Yeah, I'd say I'd agree. That would be my choice as well.
Meantime, I mean,
a lot of these rooms can be scripted in many ways.
absolutely, and even like, I think there's a difference even between okay, they can be scripted, but even if you're off the script a little bit, like it's not going to kill you. That one, there is zero room for error. If you're off just a little bit, then you're bouncing around on ice and spikes. This room is also very terrifying because you can glitch it accidentally as you're walking up those stairs that Faker Jr. had just done, and
Wait,
accidentally.
you can? I had no idea. Oh, what happens when you glitch it?
The rest of the dungeon disappears, so you kind of got to exit out.
Oh, I've never seen that happen.
Did they take it out? Okay, keep in mind, I've been like neck deep in another randomizer tournament for the past few months. So if there's recent changes that I don't know about, don't. Okay, if they fix that, fantastic. Then okay.
That would be a horrible way to lose a competition.
Yeah, it happens if or it used to happen if the previous like the change in the doors like happened right as you were transitioning up. So it was, yeah, it was a horrible soft lock, and it was a bad time. There were several tournament losses because of that.
Oof. Did Faker take a fall on Moldarm? Because he
Yeah,
came up the right side. Okay. I missed that, but he...
Yeah, took a fall when he attempted. Oh, here's that off script.
Yep. Yep. Ugh. Getting bullied.
Looked like Faker was trying to set up a hover there, and Moldorm bullied him right off the edge. And that can happen.
I mean, now's the time to practice it, right?
Yeah, these community races are exactly when you want to do practicing things like hovering, or you want to try out some weird strat. When you're not in a tournament, it's the perfect time.
Getting some bad luck on Argos here. Or, Aga. I forgot his name for a second.
Get him?
Yeah, getting bullied a little bit here.
Well, Faker finishes right as Lana Bean is about to start. Lana got that good triple. Might catch up to Faker here.
I mean, it's going to be close. It's going to be a squeaker for sure. Looking at the loadout, so Lana Bean is stacked with hearts. Faker only has 3 hearts. I don't know if they have anything in their bottles. So if they get a hug from... Oh, they do have a fairy. They're going to use it now. Okay. Still, activating that fairy might be enough time for Lana to catch up.
This will be very close. I don't know. With the loadout that we have with Tempered Sword and Silver Arrows, it is a relatively scripted fight. Although, I mean, the bats still hurt. Everything hurts.
Yeah, I mean, Faker already did get touched once, sitting on 4 hearts. It could be an issue if he gets brushed again. If you miss the torch glitch, for example, like this fight can go. It's still anyone's game between these two.
Absolutely. Missed torch glitch by Faker. This is an opening for Lana.
Oh, there we go. Faker puts a bunch of silver arrows in Ganondorf's chest and finishes with their race time of... It's going to be 1:38 and 10 seconds, 1:38 and 11 seconds. So get your GGs in chat for Faker. Keep the GGs going for Lana. She's going to be done in just a moment here.
Yep, very, very close between these two towards the very end. I mean, think about it. Our first 2 finishers on stream were less than a minute apart. Our last 2 were less than a minute apart. It was overall just a fantastic showcase here.
Yeah, and that's good for 10th and 11th place for this race. Picking up where we left off, Plasma Kappa comes in 8th. Arian Stark 29.42, 9th, and then Faker for 10th, Lana Bean for 11th. And I think we're going to be joined with Lana Bean in just a moment here.
Yep, and joining us now in the booth is Lana Bean. So, Lana, how's it going?
I think you're still on mute, my friend.
Windows changing the audio settings as always.
Oh, there we go. Hey,
That
good
happens.
news, Lana. Yeah, the merchant got that out of the way real early, didn't we?
Yeah, about that ice ride cave. Oh
Uh,
lordy.
Brutal.
I will say, other than that ice rod cave, you still made great checks kind of throughout the whole thing, and in fact were kind of side by side with Files and Super Taylor throughout most of the race, except for just having to go back and get the bow to get and do Eastern Palace. Otherwise, you would have been right up there with the top runners on the stream. So it was very close, except for that one thing.
Yeah, I lost a good 20 minutes on that, that's for sure. But it was a conscious decision. You got so much early. I'm thinking, should I go South Shore? It probably has junk. And then I check Mini Moldrum. Eventually, it had junk. And then eventually I go to Ice, and I'm like, maybe I should check Ice Ride Cave. No.
Yeah, it's one of those, it's a brilliant decision to skip Ice Rod Cave, except for the times that it isn't, right?
Exactly. It's one check. What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah. We had a prediction in chat on how many bombs you'd put down when you finally went to Ice Rod Cave.
Never enough.
Yeah, none of us guessed 0, but you did get the frustration struggle polls.
Yeah, I think other than Ice Ride Cave, the seed went darn well. I mean, if I get that bow early, then I don't touch pod, I don't touch desert. I still go to TR. I get mad at the book, but then I find the Ice Rod anyway, so it's what it is though, right? It's just one decision, it can change that all.
Yeah, for the most part, this was a pretty kind seed. I think you had an amazing Mothula fight too, if I remember, with the fighter sword.
I tried. I almost died, but that's why I got the fairy before going there. I was like, oh, I should have gotten that fairy above, and then I did Spiral and then Paradox, and I was like, I should probably go back up to get that fairy. I'm about to head to Skull with, Fighter Sword and Green Mail. But thank you. It was a fun seed.
Do you have any other thoughts? Any other things that were going through your mind at certain points that you wanted to talk about?
I guess just like stupid bow. That's about it, honestly. I mean, if the bow was in my way, I would have been in good shape, but just had to be in that one spot, and hello, last place. But that's okay. I just thank you for the restream. Thank you for bearing with me during the terrible time there. Full clearing, literally everything but GT.
And hey, man, it's also hard mode. Hard mode is not easy for anyone, right? So
that's true. I did it for a few months nonstop when I got good enough at the regular, just to get used to it before I started playing regular again. Because it's a fun mode. I like it. It just ends up being not that much harder than normal. You just got to be prepared to take extra damage. How do I only have that clear rate with as much as I did anyway?
Yeah, I mean, even 130, 136, like that's still a pretty speedy way to move through this game. Definitely should feel good with this one. Bow aside.
I appreciate it, but thank you for the restream. Thank you for commentary tracking, everything. I know how it goes. You guys are all amazing. Thank you so much. It was a fun mode. Thank you for the restream again, and that's about all I have to say about that, but thank you so much.
Yeah, well, thank you, and I guess we'll sign off on that note. So thanks again for hanging out with us, chat, and watching some Zelda Randomizer.